Lieutenant Sarah Chen had been running silent for 3 days when the Catherian armada dropped out of hyperspace. Her scout ship, the Whisper, was little more than a sensor array strapped to engines and life support, built for reconnaissance, not combat. She watched through her viewport as 200 warships materialized against the starfield, their hulls gleaming like obsidian daggers in the void. The armada was heading straight for Earth. Sarah's hands moved across her console with practiced efficiency, recording everything. Ship classifications, weapon signatures, formation patterns. The Catherians had been at war with humanity for 6 years, but never had they assembled a force this massive. This wasn't a raid or a skirmish, this was extinction. Her quantum communicator crackled to life. "Human vessel, you are detected," came the synthetic voice of the Catherian fleet commander. "Surrender and prepare for boarding." Sarah smiled grimly. The aliens still didn't understand humans very well. "Catherian fleet, this is Lieutenant Sarah Chen of the Terran Space Navy. I have a counter-proposal." She paused, watching as the alien ships began to adjust their formation, clearly puzzled by her response. "Turn around and go home. This is your only warning." The silence that followed lasted nearly a full minute. When the Catherian commander responded, there was something like amusement in the artificial modulation of his voice. "One human scout threatens an armada of 200 ships. Your species' capacity for delusion never ceases to amaze us. Prepare for—" Sarah cut the transmission and activated her ship's emergency beacon. Not a distress call, something far more dangerous. She entered her authorization codes, biometric scans, and finally spoke the words that would seal her fate. "Scorched Earth Protocol, authorization Chen 77 Alpha. Confirm activation." The computer's response was immediate and chilling. "Scorched Earth Protocol confirmed. Alteran assets in system now armed. Detonation in T-minus 60 seconds. The Catherians had made a fundamental error in their intelligence gathering. They saw Sol System's asteroid belt and assumed it was natural. They cataloged the mining stations and dismissed them as industrial infrastructure. They detected the massive fusion reactors powering human colonies and marked them as civilian targets. They never realized that humanity had turned their entire star system into a weapon. For 50 years, ever since first contact with hostile alien species, Earth's greatest minds had worked in secret. Every asteroid mining operation had a secondary purpose. Every fusion reactor was designed with a specific overload sequence. Every piece of civilian infrastructure could become a component in the largest improvised explosive device ever conceived. The Catherian ships were now spread throughout the system, having dropped out of hyperspace at various points to avoid gravitational anomalies. It was a textbook approach, and it had positioned them perfectly for what was about to happen. "Catherian fleet," Sarah transmitted on all frequencies. "You're about to learn why humanity survived the nuclear age. We didn't just learn to split the atom. We learned to split everything." The first detonation came from Ceres. The dwarf planet had been hollowed out over decades, its core replaced with a fusion device the size of a city block. The explosion was visible from Earth as a new star being born. The shockwave vaporized 17 Catherian cruisers in seconds. Vesta followed, then Pallas, then Hygiea. Each asteroid had been carefully prepared, their cores replaced with devices that could crack moons. The fusion plants on Mars went next, their containment systems deliberately failing in a cascade that turned the planet's atmosphere into a furnace. The Catherian formation shattered as ship after ship disappeared in nuclear fire. Their commander's voice cut through the chaos. "What have you done? This is madness. You're destroying your own system." Sarah watched the tactical display as the alien fleet tried desperately to escape. But humanity had planned for that too. The outer system defense platforms, disguised as communication relays, began firing. Not kinetic weapons or energy beams, but something far more exotic: compressed quantum vacuum bombs. Devices that could unravel matter at the subatomic level. Each platform fired once before being destroyed, but once was enough. The Catherian ships simply ceased to exist, their atoms scattered across light years of space. In less than 10 minutes, an armada of 200 ships had been reduced to cosmic dust. Sarah's ship shuddered as the shockwaves reached her position. Her hull would hold. The Whisper had been designed to survive this. She was the witness, the chronicler, the one who would tell the story of what happened here. Her communicator activated one final time. A single Catherian ship remained. The flagship, its commander somehow still alive in the burning wreckage of his vessel. Why? The alien asked, his artificial voice breaking with something that might have been grief or terror. Why destroy everything? Your colonies, your infrastructure, millions of your own people. Sarah's response was quiet but carried the weight of her entire species behind it. Because that's what humans do. We survive, and when something threatens our survival, we make sure it never threatens anyone else again. Every human in this system knew the price. Every one of them paid it willingly. The Catherian flagship exploded in a final burst of light. Sarah began composing her report as she set course for Alpha Centauri, where the backup colonies waited. The message would be simple, broadcast to every species in known space. One human scout faced the Catherian armada in Sol system. The armada never returned. Let this be a lesson to anyone who thinks humanity can be easily conquered. We'll turn our own sun into a bomb before we let you take our freedom. Behind her, the Sol system burned like a funeral pyre, a monument to the price of underestimating humanity.